When you move to a new country, everything feels amazing and exciting at first. But after that initial wave of euphoria, reality starts to set in. I want to share with you some cultural differences I've encountered as a Russian living in Germany. I feel like the system here in Germany is stuck in the past and resistant to new technologies and the progress. For example, I was at the government office the other day and I saw a fax machine. A fax machine. In a century, when we have artificial intelligence integrated everywhere, and they still use the fax machines? That's insane. I feel like in terms of using technologies, Russia is far ahead than Germany. And it's surprising for me because when I lived in Russia, I always thought that West is a way more in progress, modern, and using the high tech everywhere. But I was wrong. Let me give you an example. I needed to pay a deposit to book an appointment for one procedure. But the office where I had to make this payment was in another city. So I called there, assuming that it will be okay to just transfer money to a bank account of that organization. And the administrator told me that no, there is no option like that. So either I should drive there and bring the money or find someone to bring money for me. Back in Russia, that was so easy to transfer money from one bank account to another bank account by typing just mobile number in a mobile app. And that was a matter of a minute or so. But here in Germany, things are a way more complicated. And then there is a Deutsche Post that drives me crazy. In nearly 30 years of living in Russia, we never got so many mails as we got here in Germany in just 6 months. And it's not just bills, we got notifications from the city, from insurance company, and lots of other paper we didn't know the purpose of. For a country that prides itself on being green and environmentally conscious, I wonder how many tons of paper they use to send all those mail, not only to us, but to each citizen. It's crazy. Why not just send an email or to create a digital system where you could get all the information at one place? Any notifications from the government or from insurance, or if you need to change information about your home address or some social security numbers, whatsoever, you could just do this in one place, in one system. Back in Russia, we have this kind of system. And at the first, I remember how many of Russians kind of joked around those service that government created. But so far it works so well and you can do literally anything in that system. And there is the platform where you have all information about yourself. You can change some documents, you can book an appointment to a doctor, you can book an appointment to any administrative centers or whatsoever you need to change with your documents. And it's a matter of 5-10 minutes maximum. So it's super convenient. But here in Germany, I feel like they are so conservative and they don't want to change the system, to go a little bit along with the time, with the progress, with the new technologies. Digitalization makes things easier, makes lives easier. And the most important thing, it saves your time. You can just do some operations and within minutes. Life as an immigrant is kind of complicated. And when you come here in Germany and you face with a system which makes things even more complicated, it irritates a little bit and upsets. And there are little tiny things I face with almost every single day. Like you can't pay by card in many places. In some places, some of my bank cards, they don't work. I don't know reasons why it happens, but I just cannot pay by them. I feel like many people who live in Germany, they are older generations, and this is exactly those people who are so comfortable with the system how it is now. And in order to change it, people would need to use some skills, some apps, and people just don't want to go with it. They are literally fine. Local Germans, older Germans, they are fine to live this way. But it stops progress. And if it keeps going the same way, in 5 years, Germany will be way left behind many other countries, which is pretty sad. Nothing can describe better how Germans follow rules than this video.
This is the thing that we don't really understand about Germany. Once something becomes a rule, it is a rule. In fact, I once had a very interesting conversation with two friends of mine. One is from California and one is from Germany. And we were talking about losing your driving license. And the Californian said, in Germany, what would happen if you lost your license and then you drove your car? And the German said, no, you cannot do this. And he says, yeah, I know, but what if, I know you're not supposed to, but what if you did? He says, no, you cannot drive, you have no license. And the Californian went, yeah, man, but, late one night, you go for a drive. And the German went, it is impossible to drive without a license! Impossible! Impossible!
It's funny, but I feel like it's so true. It's interesting to see how Germans and Russians are different with rules. In Russia, rules are often seen like guidelines, not as a strict boundaries. People break rules all the time, whether it's something minor or something more serious. If you tell a Russian, no, we can't do anything about it, the immediate response would be, are you sure? Maybe we can do something about it. If there is a rule, there must be a way to go around this rule. This is something that is pretty natural for Russians. And it feels like it's a mutual temptation for both sides to break that rule, because both sides would win. The side who needs to change something to get something, and the side who can provide those changes by exchanging or getting something from another person. Nobody loses, it's a win-win situation. I've experienced it myself without any bad intentions or something. It's just a natural response you would give if you get no in Russia. It's like, maybe we can do something about this no, maybe there is another way. And people are ready to hear this response, and it feels like they already have the second answer to that response. I don't know how to explain this, but this is how I feel, and this is how I used to live. But what I understand here about Germany is, if you get a no, that means no. There is no another option how you can go around any rule. Frankly speaking, at first glance, I loved that structure and this clarity and this strict idea to follow the rules, because you know what works, you know what doesn't work, and there is no other options. But sometimes it feels like there are too many limitations for people. When everything is so tight and rule-based, you might feel like a bird in a cage, unable to make any movement without asking a permission or without double-checking the information. And you are constantly in that state when you feel that you need to make sure that you are doing everything right, not to break the law, not to either offend someone or to get into trouble. And since we are immigrants here, we're still learning about rules, about how society works here. And sometimes you feel not sure whether you can say this or whether you can act like this and what is better. This situation can be kind of restricting for a person and really limits our creativity, our approach, and sometimes some spontaneous actions, because you need to double check, you need to always think twice, you need to make sure you're doing everything right. as it based, as it written. Sometimes it feels like it's too much rules and too much control. Okay, this situation might surprise you, but we encountered it once our children started going to a public school and a public kindergarten. So here in Germany, there is a strict ban to take pictures of children in the kindergarten and the schools. And I understand the reasons behind this. It's a privacy concern and all of that. But as a parent, I have that desire and wish to know what my kids are up to, who they hang out with, what they are doing at schools and kindergartens, what kind of activities, and all of that. I remember back in Hungary there was a private Facebook group where we're only parents and teachers, and every week, every Friday, teachers shared a post with 10-20 pictures of all children engaged with different activities, and they shared also information, what they exactly did and what kind of activities and what were the results and the purpose of those activities. And you know, seeing your child engaging with other kids or writing, drawing something or making some arts, that was so nice. And I don't remember any parent to post other children online, on social media, pictures of other children except their own children. So if there is a main concern to have a picture of your child on social media, if you do not post it, no one would post your child on social media. I mean, I never encountered this. It would be weird, in my opinion. The reason why I say this and why it irritates me a little bit, because I just want to collect those memories for my kids as well, so I could print pictures and show them in 5 years and 10 years how they actually lived and what they did and how was the kindergarten, maybe to show them their friends. It would be so nice to have those pictures, but now we do not have anything. So once our kids started going to public schools and kindergartens, like everything was in German, everything, and they couldn't understand what was happening. And every time I asked how was the day, what they did, basically they could say only a couple of words because they didn't understand what was lessons about, what they were talking about, and all of that. And I remember how my Anya, oldest one, she went to a huge museum in another city with the whole school. And I assumed that was so much fun to have a ride on a bus with the whole children, with the whole school. But again, we didn't get any pictures from teachers, zero. And when my daughter arrived home, I started asking how was the museum, what was the activities. She again barely could explain. She said they did something with the bread or with the clothes, but she said I don't understand exactly because it was all in German. And also I don't know like some small details that important for me as a parent. I hope you got my point and the reasons why I would love to have those pictures and just some information about my children. Oops, this is not the best shape. Okay, I understood Germans care about privacy, but the other day I received a mail from a teacher with other parents' emails listed in this tab where the place for other email addresses, with a bunch of personal information of those parents, you know, addresses, names, surnames. So this is how Germans care about privacy. I would prefer my mail wouldn't be sent to any other parent with a whole bunch of information, personal information. I'm just speechless. First 3 months in any country might seem like a paradise. You seem to like everything about its place, but in some time everybody got to take off the pink glasses to face with the reality. I like Germany. I'm thankful to this place that accepted us, gave us all opportunities we have. But will I ever call myself German? No, I am a Russian woman.